Warm welcome to Government House, Yarralumla. Dawa Nuna, Dawa Nunawel. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, the Well people, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present and emerging leaders, and extend that courtesy to any other Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders gathered here with us this morning. My name is Paul Singer and I'm the Governor-General's Official Secretary. And as this badge signifies with its cross quills, I'm the Secretary for the Council of the Order of Australia, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General, who is the Chancellor of the Order and the Principal Companion of the Order. I'm also the Secretary of the Australian Bravery Decorations Council, the body which makes recommendations to the Governor-General for bravery decorations. Before we start the ceremony, I'd like to acknowledge among our distinguished guests this morning, Major General Andrew Hocking, representing the Chief of Defence Force and Chief of Army, Captain Catherine Gordon, representing the Chief of Navy, Air Commodore Hayden Marshall, representing Chief of Air Force, and Mr Robert Elterball, representing the National President of the Order of Australia Association. Welcome. Notwithstanding the challenges presented by the pandemic, we are delighted to be able to proceed with hosting the investiture ceremonies here at Government House. We are grateful for your understanding of and compliance with the measures that we've put in place to ensure that this ceremony can proceed in a COVID-safe manner. The Australian Honours System provides a wonderful mechanism through which we as a nation can recognise ordinary Australians doing extraordinary things. Since its inception in 1975, over 400,000 people have been recognised for their meritorious, bravery, military or national service. The Order of Australia is the principal means of recognising outstanding service, and it's important to note that nominations come from all areas of the community. Anyone can nominate. Today is a special day, not only for the recipients, but also for your friends, your family and your communities. It's a day when we celebrate a diverse range of impressive achievements and service. My Government House colleagues and I are privileged to play a small part in the recognition of that service, and we look forward to making this morning a day that you recall with pride for a long time to come. Shortly, I'll invite you to stand as Their Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley enter the room, and then please remain standing for the singing of the first verse of the Australian National Anthem. The investiture will then proceed in the order listed in your programs. After I read their names and citations, the recipients will enter from the doorway on my right, and after they've been invested by the Governor-General, will return to take up their seats at the rear of the room via the central aisle. And at this point, you might like to show your appreciation with a brief applause. At the conclusion of the investiture ceremony, the Governor-General will say a few words, and after the ceremony is completed, I'll invite all recipients to join with Their Excellencies on the state entrance stairs for an official photograph. And at this point, I just invite the guests to remain briefly here in the drawing room to assist with the departure of Their Excellencies and the recipients. So ladies and gentlemen, please relax and enjoy what I hope is a very special morning for you all. Would you please stand for the arrival of Her Excellencies, the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, and Mrs Linda Hurley, and remain standing for the singing of the Australian National Anthem.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Good morning and a warm welcome to Government House at Yarralumla today on a very special day in the life of our recipients, but importantly as well of our nation, as we acknowledge those who made significant contributions to our society, to our well-being. I'd begin also by acknowledging that Government House here sits on the land of the Ngunnawal people. And if you've been a Canberran for a while, you'll know what a beautiful part of the country this is. And I thank them for looking after it for generation after generation for us and pay respects to their elders past and present. You'll notice on the way in that today is, of course, a special day. Government House is all prettied up to receive you. Staff are all well dressed. The military here are in their best outfits. And there's a sense that this is an important occasion. There's ceremony, there's protocol. And so it should be. This week and the week of investitures following Australia Day awards are the two pinnacle weeks for our household here, where we have the real privilege of welcoming Australians in and their families to be recognised for their contribution. Given all the protocol, you might be worried about that, feeling a bit apprehensive. Please breathe, relax, smile, and applaud, as Paul said, at the appropriate occasions. It is a day of celebration as well as recognition. Our honours and award system, the Australian Honours Award System, was introduced in 1975 to replace the Imperial Award System. It's quite sweeping in the areas it covers, and today we will see an example of that both in the General Division of the Order and in the Military Division. And we, being Canberra and many senior headquarters and organisations in defence here, there'll be quite a number of uniformed people more frequently here than elsewhere. But our honours and awards system, I think, has one characteristic that is perhaps unique in the world, and that is it's a bottom-up system in the General Division. So what do I mean by that? Each of the people who walk through this door to be invested today, to be recognised, have been nominated from members of the community, by their peers. This is not a system, ours is not a system, where elites in Canberra, Sydney, Melbourne or elsewhere look around the country and reach down and say, Bill, Bob or Jenny is doing a great job, I'm going to give them a medal. Our system, it's recognition by our peers. I want you to bear that in mind as you watch the General Division recipients come through, because I'm going to issue some homework following the formal part of the ceremony. Young people didn't expect to get homework at Government House today, but there will be some. We will be acknowledging today Canberrans or New South Wales men and women from our local area who have made significant contributions over a very broad range of activities. That will give you also an inclination, perhaps, to complete the homework task after the ceremony. Wish you well again for the morning. Linda and I look forward to catching up with you after the formal ceremony. And on that note, I will now commence the formal investiture ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor-General. Your Excellency, to be presented with the insignia of her appointment as a member in the General Division, Dr. Beta Jones, for significant service to animal welfare science and advocacy. Dr. Jones has consistently provided strong and wise national leadership and advocacy in the animal welfare sector. As RSPCA's Australia's first ever scientific officer, she has forged an extraordinary path to ensure that the Society's animal advocacy comes exclusively from an evidence base. Her work is distinguished by her innovation, deductive reasoning, and attention to detail, and an absolute commitment to the truth. She's contributed her extensive scientific knowledge and expertise to the community, not only through her involvement with RSPCA Australia, but also with various animal conservation groups. Dr. Jones has been a leader in inspiring and cultivating a lifelong devotion and interest in animal welfare as a way to build and make lasting positive changes to the living and natural environment. Dr. Beta Jones, appointed a member of the Order. appointed a member in the Military Division, Lieutenant Colonel Peter Mantle, for exceptional service to the Australian Defence Force in the fields of medical intelligence, health leadership and epidemiology and disease surveillance. Lieutenant Colonel Mantle played an important role in reinvigorating the health intelligence capability in Australia's Defence Force. Her work directly supported Australian whole-of-government and Five Eyes efforts, including the management of the Ebola virus and Zika virus outbreaks, as well as the MH17 disaster. Most recently, she was seconded to the Department of Health, where she led the epidemiology team responsible for international assessments in the National Incident Room, and later became the Director of Epidemiology and Surveillance during the coronavirus pandemic emergency. Lieutenant Colonel Mantle has made a superb contribution in the field of medical intelligence and pandemic preparedness and response. Lieutenant Colonel Peter Mantle appointed a member of the Order. Appointed a member in the Military Division, Group Captain Edward Ether, for exceptional performance of duty to the Australian Defence Force in legal services. Group Captain Ether has served in a range of postings during his career, including as Director Defence Counsel Services, Chief Legal Advisor at Australian Defence Force Headquarters, and Director Legal in Air Command. Since 2005, he's been a leading legal exponent with respect to the provision of air measures for the security of major events in Australia. His contribution to such events as the 2006 Commonwealth Games and the 2007 Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting was vital to the delivery of military support during those events. As Chief Legal Advisor at ADF Headquarters, he supported senior command in the aftermath of deaths of members in service and reparations for institutional child abuse. Group Captain Ether's commitment to our Defence Force for nearly 2 decades has been exceptional. Group Captain Edward Ether appointed a member of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mrs. Jean Bennett, for service to the community of Canberra. Mrs. Bennett has been a stalwart of the Canberra community for many years. Her interest in radio has seen her serve as a highly professional reader, presenter, mentor, and trainer at Community Radio 1RPH, providing a valuable service to the region, especially for people who have a print disability. Since 2011, she's been an enthusiastic member of the Canberra Dance Theatre's Gold Performance Group for people over 55, which focuses on fitness, mobility, and creativity. She's also supported Dance for Parkinson's, which through movement and dance provides many benefits for people living with Parkinson's. Mrs. Bennett's endeavours have been greatly appreciated and are most deserving of our recognition. Mrs. Jean Bennett awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Ms. Rebecca Goddard, for service to Australian rules football and to women in sport. Ms Goddard is a true groundbreaker. She's the first premiership coach in the Australian Football Women's League. She was one of just 2 female senior coaches in the Women's League in its first year in 2017, and she steered the Adelaide Crows to premiership triumph. She's become a role model and leader for the code of AFL and sport in general, and through her role, she has championed both equity and diversity. Before joining the AFLW, she served as a coach of women in amateur and community football leagues, including here in Canberra. Ms Goddard is in every sense a leader who has advocated for the betterment of AFL and the role of women in the sport. Ms Rebecca Goddard awarded the Medal of the Order. Awarded the Medal of the Order in the General Division, Mr Brett Yates, for service to the community of the Australian Capital Territory. Mr Yates embodies what it means to give back to the community. He's been the driving force and organiser behind Spiral, a program for seniors in the Canberra region that provides intellectual stimulation and social interaction. It is thanks to his commitment to Spiral that sees it constantly growing in the number of people benefiting from the program. He also gives generously of his time and energy to other clubs and organisations in our area, including for the past 10 years at the National Folk Festival, and he's a key member of the Australian National University's Film Group. Mr Yates, through his dedication to others, sets a high example for us all, and we recognise him today for his endeavours. Mr Brett Yates awarded the Medal of the Order. We move now to the Conspicuous Service Decorations. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Commander Elise Twyne, for outstanding achievement in the field of electronic warfare capability development. Commander Twyne has achieved exceptional outcomes for the Australian Defence Force. As Director Navy Electronic Warfare, she used her operational experience to bring together experts from the military, the wider defence organisation, academia, and industry to evaluate current and evolving technologies that will impact upon Navy capabilities. She developed a new joint project based on the need to adequately provide for the future of Navy's electronic warfare capability, and also identified and addressed potential technological obsolescence facing the fleet. Commander Twyne's exceptional ability to leverage relationships across allied nations has fostered a collaboration that is facilitating exchange of vital global electronic warfare innovation. Commander Elise Twyne awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Colonel Justin Alexander, for outstanding devotion to duty in provision of education services at the Australian Defence Force Academy. Colonel Alexander was responsible for designing a new contemporary 20-year contract for the provision of education services for the Australian Defence Force Academy. Development of the contract with the University of New South Wales proved most challenging due to the changes in the Commonwealth's requirements and the introduction of high levels of vendor reporting. As part of the new arrangements, He also significantly enhanced intellectual property rights in favour of the Commonwealth that will enable Defence to improve the value of the contract over time. Colonel Alexander's achievements represent a revolution in the provision of education services for our Defence Force. Colonel Justin Alexander awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Lieutenant Colonel Robin O'Donnell, for outstanding achievement as the Chief Legal Officer, Army Headquarters. Lieutenant Colonel O'Donnell assumed the role of Chief Legal Officer in a period of high tempo and with a reduced staff. Under these difficult conditions, she developed and implemented a plan to reduce the backlog of inquiries and address the increase in the volume of freedom of information requests while supporting the Army's principal staff officers on a myriad of legal issues. She's also led Army's technical contribution to legislative reforms, including the Defence Act project and the Defence Force Discipline Act review. Lieutenant Colonel O'Donnell is an officer of superior legal skill who has made valuable improvements in Army Headquarters legal cell's performance. Lieutenant Colonel Robin O'Donnell awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross, Wing Commander Robert Gill, for outstanding achievement in knowledge systems development, operations planning, and improved allied interoperability for Headquarters Joint Operations Command. Wing Commander Gill made an outstanding contribution to Headquarters Joint Operations Command's ability to execute, monitor, report, and respond to all Australian Defence Force operations, joint activities, and joint collective training. In particular, he's improved Australia's ability to respond to domestic and overseas natural disasters, emergencies, and security issues. As leader of the contingency response team, he routinely undertook short notice response planning, the most recent being the establishment of Operation Bushfire Assist, where his operational planning and support of staff were exceptional. Wing Commander Gill's service and achievements have been in the finest traditions of our Defence Force. Wing Commander Robert Gill awarded the Conspicuous Service Cross. Awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal, Commander Dylan Phillips, for outstanding achievement as the Commanding Officer of HMAS Toowoomba on Operation Mantle from April to June 2020. Commander Phillips deployed on Operation Mantle in the Middle East as the Executive Officer of HMAS Toowoomba and was required to take command at very short notice during a period of high regional tensions and the global COVID-19 pandemic. Drawing upon his operational experience, he provided the steady hand of command, executing multiple patrols under the International Maritime Security Construct. Conducting more days on task than any other coalition ship, he earned the full confidence of coalition, Navy, and Defence senior leaders through his conduct of these maritime operations. Commander Phillips' focus and investment in the professional and personal development of the HMAS Toowoomba crew has been fundamental to the ship's operational successes. Commander Dylan Phillips awarded the Conspicuous Service Medal. We move now to a Meritorious Service Award. Awarded the Australian Corrections Medal, Mr. Stephen Morrow, for distinguished service to Australian Capital Territory Corrective Services. Mr. Morrow commenced as a corrective officer with the ACT Corrective Services in 2002. He played an important role in the transfer of the Belconnen Remand Centre to the Alexander McConaughey Centre, supporting staff and detainees and ensuring that the centre was commissioned with success and without incident. He is a valuable guide and mentor of detainees on respectful behaviour and encourages them to undertake appropriate life skills programs. As a senior officer, he has gained the trust of detainees through his integrity and honesty. He is well respected for his ethical approach to detainee management and for his strong support of staff wellbeing and development. Mr. Morrow has provided dedicated service to the ACT Corrective Services, its detainees and staff over his almost 20-year career. Mr. Stephen Morrow awarded the Australian Corrections Medal. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the presentations this morning.
We've recognised each of the recipients individually. I think it'd be appropriate now to recognise them as a group and say congratulations and well done. Now to homework. We've noticed during the general division a sample of the wide range of activities, contributions that people make to our community that are recognised under the award. There are a couple of matters with the award as it's performing at the moment, though, that need addressing. One is we're still underrepresented in women. Now, we have a small sample set here at Government House today, but more broadly, our last list was 44% women. The next list will be more than that, but we're heading in the right direction, but we're not where we should be. So we need to identify and nominate women who deserve to be acknowledged in our community. Similarly, our multicultural nature of Australia is not appropriately represented, nor is our Indigenous component of our country. Those three areas need more work. So your homework is to assist me, and those watching, to assist me by nominating people in your community. You know who they are. Please go back. The Official Secretary Paul will explain how to do that in a moment, to nominate, but go back to your community. I want to mark your homework as people come through that door over the next year or two. That's our job, to make sure the recipient list of the Order of Australia reflects us as Australians. That's your homework. Now, to less serious matters, we look forward, as I said to Linda and I, to joining you now over the next hour or so for a cup of tea to catch up and to get to know you all a bit better and to celebrate with these remarkable Australians who we've acknowledged today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to assist with the homework that's been set by the Governor-General, I do encourage you to access the online nomination form, which is available on the Governor-General's website at www.gg.gov.au. It's a very simple process to nominate someone for consideration within the Order of Australia. And as the Governor-General said, we look forward to welcoming those that have been successful through that process to a future investiture such as this. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite the recipients to join with Her Excellencies on the front entrance stairs for an official photograph. Would you please stand for the departure of Her Excellencies the Governor-General and Mrs. Hurley.
Thank you very much.